Hey, everybody. I'm Jane.
And I'm Sarah.
And you're listening to the Medium Curious podcast, the show that proves that spirit is super duper fancy, has our back in ways we can never ever understand.
Oh, it's true.
It's so true.
Today we have on Sally Hawk, who is proof of that. She's the founder of VerySoul, which is an online platform bringing free mediumship experiences to people around the world. You ready to meet her?
Yeah, I want to meet her. Let's meet her. Okay, here we go.
So Sally, I'm thrilled you're here.
Thank you so much, Sarah.
And I know you because I am so grateful to consider myself a VerySoul medium. And what it has done for my development has just been the biggest gift. And I know that this gift isn't just mine, that it's far spreading. And I've just raved to Jane about you and VerySoul, and we've talked about it on this podcast. So I'm so excited that you're here to tell us from your point of view what you got going on there, because it's magic.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate you guys having me on. It's so great to meet you, Jane.
Oh, thank you, Sally. It's so great to meet you too, because I've watched Sarah come up, and it has been profound to see her development through working with you and on your platform. And I've always just been such a huge fan of what you're doing and how important it is for kind of the world at large. I feel like we have a similar mission, or I think ours may have modeled after yours. Like, how can we normalize this? How can we make this just accessible and be a part of a normal life, as opposed to so far out there in the supernatural realm? So I'm so happy for what you're doing and grateful.
Yeah, I was so thrilled when I heard what you guys were doing, because you're doing a different part of this. But yeah, we are all pulling in the same direction for sure.
Yeah.
Well, can you tell us, Sally, like for all of the listeners out there, what exactly is VerySoul?
So VerySoul is a community of right now about 2,500 mediums from all around the world. We are in almost 50 countries. I think we got to 49 yesterday with our first medium from Pakistan. Wow. And we are also a platform. So the platform enables mediums to come together, practice their skills with each other, give each other feedback, and develop over time to be able to give really good, high evidence, meaningful sessions to clients. And we've kind of got stages in there for how we help mediums develop through that process. But it's such a beautiful community and such a great energy. I see such
really is. It
cool
really
things
is
happening.
Yeah.
And Sarah, you're a great example of what the platform does, because, you came and you just did hundreds and hundreds of practices, right?
I did.
Honed your skills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it provided me the opportunity to practice my little heart out, which is what I wanted to do. It just made practicing so easy and accessible, and it created a safe space to do that. And I can't tell you the amazing people I've met along the way. And then as I've developed and I've watched my skill grow, being able to help other people and give readings to people. And what is so cool about this platform, and I don't know if anybody else knows that it's free. Like, mediums don't pay any money to join. You don't have to pay for a reading when you first come looking for a reading. Everybody who comes gets their first reading for free. And how do you do that? I mean, that's just so amazing to me. Yeah.
You want the how, or you want the why first?
Well, yeah, let's get the why first, because this was a calling for you, right? Like Spirit knocked on your door and said, "Hey, you're the woman. You're the one who can make this happen. We're coming to you."
Yeah. I mean, like you, I was a practicing medium, and starting to do my client work, and I got very clear instructions over the course of a couple of weeks about this platform that Spirit wanted. And at first, I thought, this is crazy. Like, number one, I'm retired. I do not want to build a platform.
Thanks, guys. No, thanks.
I don't want to go back into business or anything like that. Number two, I was enjoying being a medium, and 3, like, it's big, it's complex. It's more complex than it sounds. It sounds like, you just throw up system and everything, but there's so much to navigate. And so, but with that inspiration came the instruction that it needed to be free. And that was the way to break the barriers and to help ensure that there were no barriers. Build no barriers. That was one of the instructions. Build no barriers. That meant, no religious barriers, no language barriers, no anything barriers. And so if we want to be able to welcome everybody, both as mediums and as client, the only way to do that is to make it free. And I kept also getting with that, don't worry, we'll take care of it.
You mean like grocery bills or what? We'll take care of you.
Exactly. So there have been some really cool things that have happened kind of behind the scenes on that. But so the why is just really to make sure that everyone has access, because the main thing that Spirit's trying to do with this platform, the end goal is to make sure that anyone, anywhere in the world can have an experience like this and have it in a high quality, meaningful way, right? And to do that, you first have to make sure that you have well-trained mediums.
Yeah.
Right. And that they've proven their skills and that they've got a level of resilience and a level of compassion and all the things it takes to be a great medium. And then you have to have a platform to be able to reach the clients. And so that's kind of the nutshell.
Oh my
gosh.
And
it runs so well. I mean, I can't tell you how. So if anybody hasn't seen this, they need to get online and just look at the website. It is so easy to use. It is very clear what needs to happen when you get on the website. And there's something for everyone there, for clients or for mediums developing. And I've been on the platform. I think I was one of your first.
Yeah. You're over 2 years.
Yeah. How long has it been? How long have you been going?
Let's see. I got the first inspiration in 2021. We put up an early prototype end of 2021, and then we launched for practices in early 2022. So, yeah. So it hasn't been that long.
It feels it feels like it's been around forever. I don't know. I've just been hearing, I've heard about it from every corner of like my life and have witnessed it and have come on and been able to enjoy like talks that you've done or mediums that you've brought through. So there's like more than just the readings. You have this whole community and these amazing events that I've had been able to participate with. But I just feel like it's been a lot longer than 2 years. That's amazing.
It's so great to hear you say, Sarah, how well it works, because as you can imagine, my team and I spend hours and hours and hours every day. We have calls with our technology team in India 3 or 4 times a week where we're just going through the nitty gritty of how does that dial move? How is that translation of a time zone working? How is this experience for clients or that experience for mediums? Like we are just, almost 24/7 obsessing about the details because we want this platform to be able to do even so much more than it currently does. We want it to be able to, we want it in every language so that anyone who comes to our platform from anywhere around the world can understand what the platform's about.
That is truly amazing. It's mind-blowing. It really is. And to see it from the beginning to where it is, like I remember getting those beginning emails. Are you interested in joining? This is what the site is. This is what the vision is. And then watching it unfold and how it's just, it seems like it's been so magical and effortless, but I know how hard you've worked on it. And I've got to say, like, having you there, knowing that you're there and you support your mediums. I mean, I had a really hard reading once where it gutted me. it was really hard. I didn't know what to make of it afterwards. And I texted you and I said, this is what happened. And you're like, hold on, I'm going to call you. And you talked it through with me, and I really felt so much better afterwards. But having you there, just to know that you're a medium as well, and you know what it's like, and that this is work of the heart, and that this is, such big-hearted work, that's just meant so much. It's been such a gift.
Oh, thank you. I think the magic of the platform is the community of big-hearted people who all come together. Like, yes, I play a role, maybe I'm like the quarterback or something, right? Or like maybe I'm the orchestra director, but it's nothing without the orchestra. And every one of the mediums that comes to the platform to practice or to work with clients, like everyone is here for the same reason. We share a mission that is so cool and so pure. Like, I don't even have to remind people regularly, like you would in normal business. You normally have to remind people what the mission is. Now, this mission is baked into all of us because we all feel the calling, right?
That's really beautiful.
That is. There's not a whole lot of... I can't think of too many organizations that have that mission. It really is the relaying of the message of love and the connection of love and the connection of everlasting love. And that's really the bottom line.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wanted to comment too on that. Early on, you said that part of what you're fostering with your mediums is resilience. And, yes. Sarah just spoke to that. Like, there's this moment or 5 where you're coming out of a reading and you feel walloped because for whatever reason, whether it's the grief or the experience itself, whatever. And that is something that I did not know I was going to need when I signed up to be a medium.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's a good byproduct, but I wonder if you want to speak to that.
Oh, yeah. I think this is one of the things that's least understood by the general public, but even by newer mediums. Like, I think we all get so focused early on in our development around making the connection, which is what we should be focused on, that you can almost for a while lose sight of the intensity of all the lives that we'll be dealing with in that process, both the lives of those who have passed and the lives of the people who are coming as clients. And doing a storytelling or being in kind of in the middle of their story for that session, it can be pretty taxing. I remember one of my first client sessions the same way. I just felt, like you said, walloped. And I thought and I'm pretty tough. I mean, I had big corporate jobs. Like, I have thick skin. I grew up in a big family. I'm tough, but I had a session where I just was traumatized by the situation that I experienced. And, luckily, it was helpful to the client, and I knew that there was goodness that happened. But I said at the end of that session, I said to my spirit team, like, I need help to get through this one. And can I just tell you an amazing story about that?
Yes.
Sorry, it's so cool. It's even hard for me to believe. So when I say it, there's going to be people who go, "Oh yeah, that doesn't make any sense." But it honestly happened. It only happened this one time, but I begged them for help. I said, I need help to heal from this because I don't know if I can keep doing this work otherwise. And that night, I slept in giant hands. I was like a baby bird being held in giant hands. And I remember waking up during the night to check to see, am I still in the giant hands? And I was. I was cradled, and and when I woke up the next morning, I was completely fine. I was completely fine. I have never had an experience like that in my life.
Oh my God.
But it reminded me that we can ask for help too.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Wow. That's the best ask for help story I've ever heard. And it's sort of like what humans forget to do, like on the hourly, daily. Like, asking for help is like kind of the best tool, really. But wow, what a beautiful example.
Yeah.
It's some giant hands.
And Gina, I'm glad you said that, because it did teach me a lesson too, which is now I regularly ask for help. I ask for the help I need. You know, sometimes it's very tactical. I'll be like, oh, I'm really struggling with marketing. I can't seem to get the right marketing, arrangement set up. And then I'll just, meditate on that and just keep asking for help with marketing. And then boom, somebody falls in my lap. I've had that happen 3 times just in the last few months. It's been happening throughout the whole build of VerySoul, that the right people show up just at the right time. And oftentimes they are driven by their passion for what we do. So they're not just like somebody trying to make some money.
Yeah.
They also are feeling called in some way, even though they're not a medium.
That's
Spirit's so fancy,
cool.
like when you think about like how Spirit's like, over here, babe, like I need you to send this email. Like how freaking cool is that? Like when you really look at all that. And Sarah and I we're just talking about some of the interconnectedness and also how it jumps time, you'll see a future thing and not understand it. And then when it happens, you're like, oh, that's the thing. And so anyway, this has been a theme this week. It's beautiful to hear about, especially for you were called, you were asked, probably not demanded. I'm not sure how it felt. And so Spirit was like, okay, we really need to be on point, but you're so smart and wise to, say, okay, this is the specific thing y'all need to do. Ready, go.
Yeah, well, one of my medium friends, when I told her about it, she pointed out to me, she said, Sally, with your background, it makes complete sense that they would want to use your instrument that way. And when I thought about it that way, I was like, yeah, that's brilliant. Of course, they would want to use my instrument that way, because this is what I do. I fix things. I build businesses. you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah, they picked the right person. That's for sure.
Thank you.
And thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people benefit. So, wow. Thank you.
Well, will you explain a little bit about how a medium becomes a VerySoul medium? What does it look like as an entry point? I just want to also say that there is no certification for mediums in this country or in anywhere that I can think of. There's no accreditation. There's no way of knowing that mediums are vetted. And what you've done is set up a system that uniquely does that. It doesn't give certification, but it vets mediums through feedback, and also has the ability to develop mediums in a really constructive, beautiful way.
Yeah. And thank you for that. I would love to take credit for that design, but I can't. But what I can say is I think there are a few places in the world that have certifications. There's some teachers who try to do certifications, but the dilemma that they have is they can only do it through a test. They can test maybe 1, 2, 3 readings. And some people just don't test well. Like some people get nervous. This has been true my whole life. I've always been a good test taker, but I've always felt bad for the people who are not good test takers because they're smart. They just couldn't perform in the test. But the other problem, the other dilemma in those kind of certifications is it's a point in time view. Versus when you're working in a environment like ours, we have constant feedback. And so that means not only do we see people's development, we see it from diverse perspectives. So it's not just one person from one culture judging whether you're good at what you do. We're judging from a worldwide view, which means, and we're not judging, we're getting feedback from a worldwide view from many different people's perspectives, which means the medium actually has to be that much better. Because there is it's not like you can study for the test,
Right.
You have no idea if your next client is going to be from Pakistan or from, India or from the United States or Canada. You don't know if there's somebody, we have clients who have just recently got out of jail. We've got clients who are, top executives. We've got clients who are celebrities, who are, think they could never be a celebrity. We've got clients who run the gamut of cultural, socioeconomic experiences. And that means our mediums have to be so wide open to allow the possibility for anything. We can assume nothing because we're not working with a typical mediumship client, which in the past has been middle-aged white women with enough money to pay. So that it's a broader development, and it's kind of a broader test of skills. And the test never stops, because even once you're working with clients, we still see feedback on a regular basis. So if a medium goes through a tough period, like maybe they have a health crisis or a family issue, oftentimes they can bounce back, but sometimes they don't bounce back right away.
Yeah.
And, and they need to go back and re-hone those skills a little bit and gain their confidence back. And so because we constantly have feedback, we can have that conversation with the medium to say, why don't we maybe step you back into a practice space for a while until you're back up to full speed? That way, no clients are harmed along the way.
Yeah. Wow. That's like the safety net. That's a safety net for the mediums too, to have that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always hard going into a reading knowing that you're going to get feedback. That's always in the back of your head. But at the same time too, it does feel a little bit like a safety net as well.
Yeah, it is. And what it does for the mediums who keep working with it is that becomes the creation of resilience. Because when you think you're doing well and your feedback isn't so good, you really have to reconcile with that.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you're right, they're wrong, or they're right, you're wrong. It doesn't mean that. It means you've got a dissonance to reconcile. And after you do that 100 times, you start to gain a new level of not only ability, but resilience, that I can truly go into any situation and I can focus on spirit and help them convey their information.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Well, probably you've already answered it, I think. But just to say, my question is for a new medium who wants to come on the platform. You've talked about kind of the safety net. There's something really beautiful about knowing that you're going to be held and there's going to be guidance. Like, okay, yes, you're ready to go forward. Maybe you've endured some hardship. Your readings are not tracking. Let's pull you gently back. But like for the medium who's just self-conscious or feels like, oh, I don't know if I want to be judged or whatever. What do you say to that? Like, how do you reassure a new medium that the ratings is not going to break them?
Yeah. So the first thing is the feedback is mainly for your development, and it's kept very private.
Okay.
Until you become a professional with our platform. When you become a professional with our platform, you can choose to publish your feedback. Most mediums do, but you don't have to. Okay. But so for everybody in the practice space, it's private, and it's really just for them, for their development. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't get a little heartbreak along the way. Absolutely. And,
of course.
When we first started, I used to get a lot of those calls of the heartbreak, or sometimes it was, people feel like they've been wronged in some way in what that review is. And I completely get the emotions of that, but therein lies the lesson, because that one of the things that's hardest for mediums to work on is their own personal blocks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And our own personal ego, and getting our ego out of the way. And what I tell mediums on a regular basis is every time we celebrate a reading, how well it went, every time we cry if it didn't go well, right? It doesn't matter. Those are both our ego talking, right? If we connected with spirit and we did the best we could do as the instrument, that's our job.
Right.
The emotions that come with that, whether it's fear or, anything, that's all ego. So anytime we're afraid of something, that's a trigger for us to consider, right?
Mm-hmm.
What am I afraid of? What am I afraid of? So I watch the mediums who take the brave step to start taking the feedback and reading their feedback. And over time, they become more resilient from it. They learn from it. They become more resilient, and they become a little less affected by it. And at the same time, I watch their readings just blossom, because it's kind of like it's carving away at their egos.
Yeah, right. That is brilliant. It sounds like that system kind of part of the download for you, to know that would be built in, like the ratings and the review, because it's genius. Yes. It is. And it does exactly what you're saying. Like the biggest problem that, most mediums have is their head / ego, like the stories of like, I'm not good enough, I can't do it. And so then if that was echoed back to you, like, oh, you can't do it, you could stop, or you could push through and go, no, I can do it, because I'm listening to Spirit's in charge. And you're slowly moving back out of the way. Like, you're no longer like so concerned. I've watched that with Sarah. Like, she blows me away with her wisdom. And I think that's just how she's built. But I do think that her mediumship is so gorgeous. And when something hits that's like not exactly ideal, her recovery is immediate. Whereas I'm like laying down on the floor, calling over to her from getting the dog to help me up, so anyway, it's profound. And I'm really glad we spent some time talking about it, because I think it's a really big deal.
Yeah. So a couple of things. Yes, it was part of the design that Spirit gave me. Almost everything we're building, there's very little that we've had to decision, because they gave so much information about how this should be built. And there are mediums who are fearful of the feedback at first. There are mediums who come in and then step out, and then come back in, and then step out, and then come back in, and then they really get going, So I've seen it all. But when I watch mediums like Sarah, who just buckle down and keep going and keep going and keep going, I also get the incredible pleasure of just watching their mediumship blossom to this place that's so profound, like so profound. I don't know if you could otherwise do that in the period of 2 years. I just don't know. Like,
I don't think so. What I am so astounded by is how quickly I developed, because I could practice whenever it was convenient for me in these small pockets of time. I could schedule in a practice. And also, too, practicing was so beautiful, because not only do you get to connect with Spirit and give somebody a reading, you get a reading back. So for practicing, it was so rich and so fun. And then, like you said, meeting people from all around the world. I mean, I was thinking about all the different countries that I've had clients in, like you said, Pakistan, India, Australia, Serbia, like Ireland, England, like everywhere. Just everywhere.
Yeah. We're doing translated sessions some places, like Ukraine. Yeah. It's amazing.
It's been such a rich experience. I mean, I think all of my practicing before had been through Facebook groups and circles, which are great and amazing, but it wasn't with the amount of consistency that I was desiring. And this just was, it fed me. It was like nutrition to me to be able to get to do this at this speed and this rate that I was interested in doing it.
That's great. Well, not to make it too clinical, but you are also proof of concept.
POC. There she is, folks.
Yeah.
So I would like to know, how did you become a medium, Sally? Were you one of those people that always knew that they were a medium, or how did you discover your mediumship?
Yeah, no, I absolutely did not know I was a medium. I discovered it completely by accident. I was, a corporate lawyer, type A, working a bajillion hours, traveling and, running big global businesses for banks, and was so far into that world of material go-getter, all that stuff. Like, I wasn't thinking about any of this, right? And then while I was still working, I guess this is about 20 years ago, one night my husband was up visiting his parents, and his mother was in the hospital for a routine procedure. She was in Montreal. And my daughter was 7 at the time. I have one daughter, and she was sleeping in bed with me. And I woke up at about 4:30 in the morning, and my husband's mother was sitting on the bed. It was this beautiful kind of, I don't even know how to explain it. I hate the word ghost because I think that sounds scary. It wasn't like that.
Yeah.
I couldn't see a face. It was like this beautiful energy cloud. And I saw her sit on the bed, and she was rubbing my daughter's back. And somehow I knew that it was her.
Yeah.
And I knew exactly why she was there. I knew she was there to say goodbye. Now, it's particularly important that my mother was a Holocaust survivor, or my mother-in-law was a Holocaust survivor. And she had been in Auschwitz as a teen, and so had her husband. And so they lost most of their family. So when we had a child, that was their only granddaughter, their first grandchild, only grandchild. And she was to them the epitome of survival, So they were so close, like closer than you can even imagine, between a grandparent and a grandchild. So it made complete sense to me that of everything she wouldn't want to leave in this world, it would be her granddaughter. And then about 15 minutes after that happened, I woke my daughter up and I asked her, "Did you experience that? Because I think your bubby died during the night." She said, "No, Mommy." She was sleeping. But then my husband called about 15 minutes after that. And he said, "I just got a call from the hospital. My mom died unexpectedly during the night." And I said, "I know, because she was here." And he at first got so angry with me because, of course, he was experiencing this loss, unexpected loss.
Yeah.
And neither of us really believed in that kind of thing. So for me to suddenly claim I knew, it was out of context,
Yeah,
It took years for him to really grapple with that and to understand that it was, after I did more research, I found out it's actually not an uncommon experience. Yeah. And so once I read the research and I started to understand that, I felt much better. I knew I wasn't crazy, and things just started to open up from there.
Oh, so good. I think what you just said, you did the research, you saw that it was very common, and then you didn't think that you were crazy. I think that is something that's really important for people to know, that these experiences are normal and that everyone can experience them, and you're not crazy.
Exactly. And they could come in different forms, right? It could come in different forms. We hear this from clients all the time. But it's being able to trust your gut on that, to be able to trust your intuition. That's probably the one thing that made me jump into the research right away, is I thought, I know I'm a smart person. I know I get stuff done. I know people trust my opinion on things. I didn't suddenly fall off the truck one night, right?
Yeah.
So I have to understand this.
Yeah. I mean, and it's so helpful. Like, I saw that Suzanne Giesman's on the board of VerySoul, or a collaborator with you.
She's a strategic advisor. Yes.
That makes perfect sense. That's the right word for her.
Yeah.
But, I think this kind of information, like she's such a great messenger because of her background and being such a precise human out in the world, being so successful. Yourself the same. You're a corporate lawyer. You're a badass. Like you're not just somebody who was like, I really love rainbows. I wonder where I can go find some. You're not just like floating around.
Yeah. I'm not a lawyer. I'm a warrior. That's what I said. Corporate warrior.
Oh, corporate warrior. Oh yeah. I understand it. I used to sell to a corporation. So say more about what exactly you did.
I ran global businesses for large banks. So my last role, I was working for Bank of America. I had about 20,000 people working for me in all different countries around the world. And we were managing, billions and billions of dollars of credit lines between banks and things like that. I ran multiple businesses for them, but I was kind of a fix-it person. So when something would break, and nobody knew what to do with it, they would change my job and they would say, Sally, we need you to go look at that, figure out what should we do with that business? How do we fix that?
Okay. That makes so much sense. So
badass
is still the right word. And the international thing is so interesting because essentially that's where you are now. You're like solving international problems again, just with your heart at the front. So how cool, how amazing.
And you know what's interesting about that? And I wonder if you guys have any thoughts on this is I often wonder which came first, the chicken or the egg, right? Like, did I have those experiences in life to get me ready for this, which I feel is my real purpose in life? Or did I happen to have those experiences and then somebody said, hey, look at that instrument. Like, let's play that instrument, I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever know. Well, someday I'll know, but
you'll get over then. They'll be like, well, it's kind of either. I mean, it's so fascinating. It's a really fun question. I just got such big chills when you said that you said this was that you were being prepared for, like it was just like brr, 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 and that's every medium will tell you that's how we know the truth is being spoken. So, and again, like. I mean, I like that came first because the gravity of it, the like, you were running this massive business with, did you say 20,000 people? What was the number?
20,000 people
That's
in my
a lot
business.
Of people, Sally. We're going to be headed that way with that many
It's a very
mediums.
large business.
So that's not, that's how we just turn to all the people who really want to dismiss this and really want to say, y'all crazy. And we're like, nope, no. And I just think about your mother-in-law and what a big, huge deal that is. Like that being this like momentary, like, whoa, like the flash of you being invited.
Yeah. Big wake up call. I mean, she survived, just to tell you what a strong person she is and still is. She survived in Auschwitz for 3 years.
Wow.
As a teenager. Now, she was emaciated when she was rescued, but imagine the fortitude that takes to survive that. So she is not, if she's going to break if barriers are going to be broken, it's going to be her.
Yeah, she's the right, again, the right person at the right time, right?
Exactly.
Oh, amazing.
Well, I had somebody else. When I was telling them, I think when VerySoul was first coming online, they were talking about, it does sound legit because it is free because of that, it lends to, it's truth.
Credence.
It's credence. But how are you doing this?
And how's retirement going?
$1 at a time. Yeah. Well, I mean, we get some pay it forward donations, from clients who have good experiences. We offer them an opportunity to donate $5 to help us keep the platform free. That doesn't happen that often right now, but right now we're we just keep going. We just keep finding ways to keep going. At the very beginning, the first round of investment, I can say I can't disclose a lot of details, but to me, it felt like found money.
Wow.
So
that's cool.
Money we didn't expect to have that we had. And so that made the first year very easy, to say, okay, that's great. I'm just taking this as another sign we should keep going. So, and I think we have a pretty good eye on how we'll find funding for the future without messing up the model. We've been working on that, looking at ways to find revenue streams that don't require us in any way creating barriers for participation.
That's amazing. What a gift.
Yeah.
And Spirit's kind of hooking everything up together behind the scenes. That's really phenomenal.
And every once in a while, I just have to go back and meditate and say, okay, I trust.
Yeah. So what are your dreams for VerySoul? What do you have in the future? Because I know how far it's come, and I can just see you like there's more coming.
Yeah, there's definitely more coming. We're getting ready very shortly to launch group sessions. Cool. We'll be able to facilitate both group practices, circles, development circles, demonstration practices in groups, and anything that we do with group stuff between the mediums, we'll also be able to start using with clients. So that's going to open up another level of community opportunities, because part of what I hear from the mediums is they love the practices for development, but what they love even more is that they're meeting people who like them.
Yeah.
Because especially if you're in a far off country and you are the only medium that in Jamaica, or you are the only medium that in Zimbabwe or something, our online community is so precious.
Yes.
So through these group sessions, we'll be able to build even more of that. But the intention, the goal from Spirit is to get to 1 million client sessions over the next couple of years. We're a little bit behind on that. We had a couple technology stumbles, and we're still working out some marketing bugs. But we're definitely going to get there, because the client feedback that we get is phenomenal, both in terms of the experience that they have in their session, but also the total experience that they have. Clients tell us regularly, like, they've never felt this kind of trust with a organization before, because we don't try to upsell them. We don't take credit cards. We don't in any way try to trick people or hound them through email. We just really want to get everyone an experience, and then they can choose what they want to do after that.
Wow.
Yeah, I can attest to that. Absolutely. The integrity that everything flows through is just really impeccable.
It's the integrity that you guys would want, and I would want for myself and for my family, especially for somebody who's grieving. Yeah. People are right to be fearful of someone taking advantage of the vulnerable, right?
Yeah.
That having happened in the past with other organizations has created a marketing barrier for us. So in some cases, when I want to market in this magazine or in that publication, they will literally tell us, no, they will not take our money. It's got nothing to do with our actual reputation. It's got to do with the industry's reputation.
Yeah.
And so we've got walls to break through there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of the things that's been really heartbreaking for me. I stepped out of I'm a filmmaker, and I stepped out of I was selling to Adobe and Facebook and all these big corporations, really fun commercials. So I was in like a really fun world. And the fact that our industry has some shysters who create a lot of chaos is such a massive bummer, especially because and Sarah and I talk about this a lot on here, that mediums are so gorgeous, like the ones we know and hang out with, yourself, heart. It's like, I wasn't jumping out of that career to come over and be like harassed by, certain friends and family members by saying like, that's not real. You're, like suddenly I lost all my integrity after I ran a business for, 10 years. Like, it's like all of this like weird noise that's around our industry. And it's because of certain bad actors, and it's such a bummer. So I'm like, how can I help? Like, how can we, I'm excited because I know it's going to happen because love is going to win. Damn it.
Absolutely. Together, we're going to break through it. And part of how we do that is, by creating credibility, but by creating credibility, it also raises the bar for everyone. Because when you have a credible, measured approach to something like this that has never been credible or measured before, you can't mess around because consumers are not stupid, right?
Yeah.
Where are you going to put your money? Are you going to put it someplace where someone wants to tell you that they're magical and mystical? Or are you going to put it someplace where you know what I mean? Where thousands of people before you have had an experience, reported on their experience, and, it's measured. So over time, it is going to shift the industry to the better.
Yeah.
That's not to say that it's going to displace good mediums. It just means I think everyone who really cares about what we do is going to benefit.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah. It's a profound gift that you're giving the world. And I've always been very much in awe of what you're building. And now hearing some of the stats and the behind the scenes, it's even more gorgeous than I imagined. So I'm really happy our listeners will get to meet you and get to all these budding mediums will get to join you on your platform and be a part of this incredible movement that you've created. So thank you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys having me on. And I just love what you're doing with this podcast. It just, again, we're all pulling the same direction. So helping people understand that this is not weird. This is not magic. It's just us using a skill that we didn't know we had sometimes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, just a gift that anyone could be given if they like to work and open minds and hearts. And anyway, so thank you.
We have had, I just want to throw in, we have had a number of clients who after their session discover that they are mediums as well.
Surprise.
So sometimes their sessions are their opening opportunity.
Yeah. Oh, I think I've had a couple of those. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's so
very cool. Yeah, it is.
Beautiful.
Well, thank you so much, Sally. I'm sure we'll have you on back here at some time. And everybody out there listening, if you haven't had a mediumship reading, check out VerySoul. Just to check it out. It's such a great place to just go and explore and see what it is.
And of course, we'll have the links in the notes.
That's right.
Thank you, Sally. Have a beautiful day. Lots of love.
Thanks, ladies.
Bye.
Bye.
Medium Curious is made possible
by Jane Morgan Editing.
Sarah Rathke made the amazing music.
And Gigi Hawkins, podcast consulting.
Our logo was created by Eric Allen.
Kyle Hansen McKee, photography.
And the dogs under the desk in Hawaii are Kalea and Domino.
And Trixie in California.